Welcome to In Pursuit with Pastor Bill.
Hey, I'm just a simple guy in pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, wild game, fish that swim under the ice, tender smoked meat, tasty grilled meat, and Denise.
In this hour, we are going to be talking about all of that and a whole lot more. Bill has been with Maranatha since 2005 and the campus pastor at Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus since 2011. Come along and join In Pursuit.
Woo! Woohoo! Here we go. Super to be back. Welcome to those of you that are listening right here, whether you're listening live on your radio dial 88.1 or 91.7 if you're in the Forest Lake area, 91.7. I know some of you might be listening live at yourliferadio.com. And as always, if you like what you hear on this radio station, this show, or any other show, you can find most of them on all of your podcasting platforms.
Pretty much all of them.
As the kids like to say. Yep, all of them. They're out there. Yeah, and I would just invite you to do this. If you listen to one of these shows, ours is every Thursday here from noon to 1. Pastor Mike's is from 8 to 9 a.m. every Friday. But, you know, shoot us an email or a message of some kind, just commenting and letting us know that you're out there and your thoughts and all that kind of stuff. But today, who we have with us, obviously Denise is here.
Hi.
Good to see you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, it is good to be here. Mm-hmm. In the booth with us, we have Sean A., as I like to call him.
Hello. Great to be here.
It's good to have you.
On this side of things, yeah.
You're about 2.5 feet from that microphone.
I'm trying to not be very loud.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. It's good to have you in here. And then on the other side of the glass, we have Alice running the show.
Hello.
Good to have you out there pushing the buttons and directing traffic. Appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
James just getting things ready for the Easter week and videos and editing and all that kind of stuff. So he's stuck in the office, but he told me he would be listening. So James, just so you know, we're glad you're doing your work and we miss you over here. So
Mr. James?
Yeah, that was a shout out. A shout out. As we've done in the past, I just think it's kind of fun. If you happen to be listening on any of the platforms and you have one of our phone numbers, shoot us a text if you would please. And let us know that you are here and listening, and we can just say hello to you. So a text, if you happen to have my email, I have that opened up on my phone. You can shoot me an email, and I'll just be checking that periodically over the course of the next hour. It's funny to say the next hour because when you say it on the front end, it seems like, wow, this is an hour?
And then you blink.
You get to the end, and it's like, that was an hour?
Right.
That's crazy. That is crazy time. So yeah, a couple of things going on. I think for me it's like looking at like the weather over the last week. Just is
crazy.
It is. Like, what is this stinking deal?
But you know, at the beginning of March, it was so beautiful. And everybody's like, oh, it's so beautiful. Spring's here. And I'm like, don't you dare get yourself all psyched up. Because March comes in like a lamb and it goes out like a lion.
Yeah.
I remember that from my childhood.
Yeah.
If it came in like a lion, you were glad because it's like then the end of March would be a lamb.
You just get the bad news out of the way first.
Yeah, you're sad because there's more snow. But if you don't get it at the beginning, you get it at the end.
Yeah.
Which is sadder.
It is sadder.
Not even a word.
Yeah, it was interesting. We was it yesterday or the day before looking at the snow and watching the snow and I was like, isn't it weird how when you see that in like October or November, it's like, this is just cool.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Look
like
at it floating down.
The new season.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. But you see it at the end of March, and it's like, what?
Yeah, the patience is worn thin. We're done with it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Time for spring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No more sprinter.
Yeah.
I've got a funny picture. Just a second.
And are you going to show the radio picture, the funny picture you have?
I'm not going to show the radio picture, but I'm going to read it.
Well, you look that up.
I got it.
So James texted me. I'm listening. Miss you guys. Something about shame. Keep Pastor Bill in line, please.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not sure what
Easier
that's.
said than done.
Yeah, and I don't understand it either. Cindy Noble, also back at the office, working hard on kid stuff. She's listening. Thank you guys for joining in. That's nice of you.
Okay, so here's my picture that I'm going to read. It's not a picture, but it's saying the 11 seasons of Midwestern states. Winter, Fool's Spring. Second winter, Spring of Deception. Third winter, Mud Season. Actual spring, summer, false fall, second summer, which is 1 week, and then actual fall, and then
That's funny. I've never heard of that before.
Perfect.
Yeah, that is great.
made me laugh.
What are we in now? Sometimes it feels like all 4 seasons in one, like in 1 week. Is that Mary Rausch? Mm-hmm. Mary Rausch is listening. Are you? Mary, send Denise a text. Are you grooming a dog right now? Mary's a dog pet groomer over.
A fabulous pet groomer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And with some sponsorship, we would love to do a commercial for it. No, I'm just kidding.
For the pet grooming.
This is what James was talking about. Yeah. Yeah. She's listening from over the river. Again, we are a national. Not international, because she's over the river, not over the pond.
Yeah, she's over the state lines.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're a national show right now.
Wow. That's awesome.
We really need somebody
We do need
to
some
text us from
sponsorship.
overseas.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get Tyler from Japan.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't know what time it would be for
Who
him.
cares?
but-
He's young.
Right? Yeah.
Be up. It's
up.
late.
Come on,
Even if-
man.
What is it? It can't be more than 8, 10, 12 hours. It's only midnight at the worst. He's up. Yeah. He's probably playing video games. That's a funny thing you read. That's a very funny thing you read. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, the weather's been weird. So, speaking of turkey hunting.
We were?
Yes,
Surprise.
Jenny Gaskill, the station manager, texted, oh, that's nice. The Forest Lake staff and the kids sale crew, because there's a huge kids sale, I believe, happening here at the Forest Lake campus this weekend. They are listening in the sanctuary and eating burritos.
Yum. I'll be there in a minute.
Nice. I think I did see a video about that. Pastor Mike preparing burritos because it's National Burrito Day or something like that. So they're eating burritos. So back to the turkey hunting conversation.
Just a minute.
So Nate Roosh just texted me, keep up the free advertisement. That's Mary's husband. That's great. Hey, Nate, by the way, we had that venison breakfast sausage that you gave me on Sunday. I had it today, cooked it up on the Blackstone. Real good stuff, so thank you very much for that.
Mary did text a picture of the cutest little dog she's grooming right now. Oh,
that's awesome.
It makes me want to get a dog.
Yeah. No more pictures, Mary. So, turkey hunting, anyway. So, the turkeys. So, last Saturday after church, because at the Chisago campus, we have a Saturday 4:30 service, and we get home sometime between 6 and 7 o'clock, depending on meetings and dinner and stuff afterwards. And we drove up our driveway, and we saw a group of turkeys in our woods. And that was the first group we've seen in months, which would tell us, these big groups you see in the fields all winter, they're breaking up a little bit now, getting into the mating season and all that stuff. So that was very exciting. We saw this one real nice tom kind of hanging out with all these hens, and now this weather hits, and it's like, where did they go?
They're gone.
Yeah, they panicked. Fortunately, though, on the game camera in the back of our woods, there's a nice tom. Ben, hey Ben, if you're listening in there, grab me after the show here, and I'll show you. It's a nice tom in those back pines back there. Yeah.
A tasty tom.
Yeah.
And just as a weird point, a group of turkeys is called a rafter.
It is. Yep. Yeah.
Useless information. There you go.
Yeah, but it's funny because I always thought it was a gaggle. I thought it was a gaggle of turkeys. It's not.
Isn't it a gaggle of geese?
I think it's a gaggle of geese.
Okay.
Yeah. And like any other bird, you would look at it and say it's a flock of birds.
Yeah.
What an amazing language. And do you know there's a clean comedian, Nate Bargatze?
Oh, I like that guy.
He's
hilarious.
Have you seen him where he's like George Washington in the little boat, and they're talking about forming the English language, and And it's just a funny skit that they're doing. I don't know if it's an old Saturday Night Live or what it is, but it's a hilarious skit. And one of them is they're talking about how, we're going to call animals something different once they become food. Like deer will become venison, and cows will become beef. And one of the guys says, and what about chickens, sir? And he just goes, chickens will be chicken. But then there's the hamburger. And what's that made of, sir? Is that made of pig? Nope, that's made of beef. And buffalo chicken is made of chicken. I mean, it's just buffalo wings. Those are made of chicken. It's a funny thing. Cindy Noble sent me a text saying, bring me a burrito. We'll work on it, Cindy. We'll work on it, but no promises. So, yeah, turkey season, then sap season or syrup making season. There's so many little things to catch you guys up on. So we had a very intense learning experience in the whole sap making journey.
We did.
Yeah, so we've loved doing this. We canned some of our syrup that we made from the maple trees on our land, and it's just another one of the most rewarding and super fun things we did. But I'll tell you guys this. So one day last week, we had a couple of the grandkids over, and we said, well, this will be fun. We'll boil down some sap, and you guys can kind of be part of this. So we walked out, and they got bags from trees, and they're just having a blast, So we're boiling it down in kettles in the garage, and we have lunch, and you boil it down to a certain point, and then you add some more sap to it and keep boiling it down. Well, so we have some lunch, and the kids, they're like 8 and 10. They go in, and they're going to watch a little show because it's midday, time. And, of course, me, I'm all for the midday nap time. So not intending to fall asleep, I grabbed a pillow, laid on the floor in the living room by where they were watching their show, and proceeded to crash. And Denise was sitting in there with us and watching TV and on her phone, and I would guess dozing in and out, and it was just a very relaxing time. Until Denise walks out in the kitchen and then smells something, goes out into the garage, opens the door, because we have an attached garage, which is where we've been boiling this stuff. She opens the door, and it's on fire.
Oh.
Yeah, like
flames shooting out of the kettle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't it? Like in the garage. And I'm sleeping like a baby on the floor. So what had happened, unfortunately, she just wise and quick and calm, shuts the gas off, puts the cover on the kettle, opens the door, problem solved. But the thing is like it had burned down to the point where it was just obviously sugar. Like what was in there was like 3 or 4 inches, and it looked like a burnt marshmallow. Because it was just sugar, just burnt sugar,
Wow.
And the garage actually smelled like a toasted marshmallow for a week. It smelled so good. It was like there was not a punishment for that.
Oh, it's not like you burned steak or, it was like, this smells good in here.
Every time you walked in, you wanted to go roast a marshmallow because it smelled so
So did you guys make s'mores later that day?
No.
Oh.
We stayed away from fire for a while, actually. That was close, though. I mean, if you think about it, what in the world?
Yeah.
So we went back to using the burner that's got a little timer on it to keep the gas going through it.
Good
because
call.
obviously we cannot be trusted.
Can't be trusted.
Yeah. The nap was unexpected, I will say that. So we've done some sap stuff, and then one of the things we're in pursuit of here on this particular show is tender smoked meat. Well, I got to tell you something real quick here. We're not going to make the show about this. There is a topic today, but on Sunday night, we smoked a 9-pound pork butt, bone in, a little bone in it, but it was a 9-pound pork butt that we smoked. And I'm just going to tell you what we did because it turned out perfect. And
It was so good.
Yeah, and I need to qualify this statement by saying I am very new to smoking meat.
Not new to smoking.
So I'm new to smoking meat, and I'm learning, and we love it. Mm-hmm. I love learning things, and so the process has been fun. So we smoked this pork butt Sunday night, put it in at like 8 or 8:30, and here's what we did. So we didn't even use a binder. like you put like a mustard rub on it. You just smear it with mustard and then you put your dry rub on it. We didn't use a binder. We used seasoning that Denise made, and while I keep talking, I want you to try and remember a little bit of what you put in that rub.
Okay.
So Denise, she put this homemade rub on it, kind of based on a rub we had bought that we really liked. And so she put this rub on it, not real thick. Like in the past, I have really laid it on this rub because then you get that real thick crust,
Mm-hmm.
And so she did all the seasoning and just a bit of it on there. Like seriously, not the thick coating that you usually see. So do you remember it all?
I'm trying here.
Okay. And then what we did was, so I put it in about 8:30, unwrapped, and set the smoker at about 2 1/4. Now, here's another interesting thing is somebody from church, actually, Johnny and Megan Erkey, for Christmas or something last year, my birthday, they gave me a multi-probe remote meat thermometer. So there's 4 probes you can put in, and then it's wireless, so you actually carry a little base with you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like you can wander around the yard, or in this case, have it in the house. And so I had 2 of those in the pork butt, but then a third one I had just in the smoker, because they give you a little brackety thing where you can just put it right on the metal grate there,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to monitor the actual temperature in the smoker.
Wow.
And yeah, what's interesting is obviously it's not an exact science because it's like regulating itself, starting a fire, smoking, and up and down and stuff. But it would fluctuate from right around 225 on the low end upwards to 250, even to 260, and then it would come back down, and so that's kind of how that smoker works, which was interesting. So we put it in at 225 overnight. I got up about 5 that morning, checked it. It was, the 2 probes were at 165 and 170. So I went out, I wrapped it, put it back in, turned it up to 275, put the probes back in, and then what you want to do is get it up over 200. Like that's the breakdown temperature for the meat to be really tender, which is another very interesting thing. So then by the time I looked and paid attention again, it was at like 207 and 210. And your ideal, I think, is 203 to 205, but I'm not, that specific enough to really monitor that stuff. So anyway, got it off. Then what we did, leaving it wrapped in the butcher paper, put it in a cooler, and it rested for about an hour and a half. And now the money. You take the thing out of the cooler, and I've always wanted to do this because I've watched a lot of these videos, the Meat Church, all these different guys. And I just set the whole pork butt on this big round like pizza pan, and I had gloves on, and I just dug my fingers in, and it just fell apart.
Oh,
I know.
nice.
I was like,
That's so cool.
it was in the bone. You just grab the bone,
Oh, wow.
clean as a whistle. Comes right out. It was delicious, like just the perfect amount of seasoning. I'm telling you what, man, it like of the few that we've done, hands down, this was my favorite.
Yeah.
The way
that's
the
good.
temperature it was cooked to, how tender it was, and it was extremely juicy. So then we were having company. We had met with some people from church, and so we made them lunch. And so before we came to a different meeting, we put it in a crock pot, and you put a little bit of broth in it.
You did, yes.
So a little bit of chicken broth
Yep.
and some butter
Yep.
in the crock pot. Now, if you don't know, crock pots really can dry out meat,
They
right?
really can.
So this was unbelievable. So we got home after the meeting we had here that you guys were at. A couple hours later, it was like, this is the best. Juicy,
So good.
delicious.
So good.
So we had this meal with these guys, and the lady, she brought over a salad and some vegetables, and she was watching me put food on my plate, or the lack thereof. I noticed you didn't take any salad or vegetables. Like, not sure why you would when you have that right. I'm serious, Shane. It was out of this world. So what did you put on it real quick?
So the rub, this is in order of the amount, but it's imprecise. Salt, first salt, brown sugar, black pepper, paprika, oregano, and then cayenne pepper, which I can't make anything too spicy because Bill sweats if he has Doritos, regular Doritos, or ketchup. So I did put a little cayenne pepper, but it wasn't too much. And I think the rub on this 9-pound was over It was over a cup of rub. Because I had to make a batch and then I had to make more because you wanted more.
Yeah, but
So,
you,
but it was a large surface.
it was yeah, because you wanted it all around it. Yeah,
Right.
But it just was very interesting, and one of the things it teaches me is it's like everybody's got their opinions about the right way and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just try it. I mean, just try it, because this, like, honestly, the way we did this, we didn't do this right. There was no
didn't.
binder. There wasn't.
Because
and
I forgot you use a binder.
and it worked out perfect.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, you know what, we're just going to cook this thing. And I'm serious. I can't even tell you.
It was so good.
Well, I do have a suggestion. With those wonderful temperature gauges that Johnny gave you, maybe you should use them when you're doing your syrup.
Nice.
How come we don't have a mute button in here? That's awesome.
Like a red button on this side of the glass.
Yeah. That's. You know what? That's good advice, Alice. We can absolutely receive that. That's good. Good to be surrounded by people that sharpen you.
Right?
Right? Speak truth, even though it hurts.
It's making you better.
Hurt me. That's good stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that's like, hey, that's just fun stuff. Today, though, we do have a point, and before we get to our word of the week, I'm just going to give you a real quick heads up. In our second segment, we're going to be talking about being in pursuit of the pause button. In pursuit of the pause button. And here's what I mean by that. And I think part of this might be because we've had some people in our church who have had family members pass away, like 3 or 4 in the last couple of weeks, I think.
Okay.
And so it just gets me thinking about life, and you meet with people about funerals and perform funerals and stuff, and it can't help but get you thinking about it. And one of the things I'm thinking about is how fast life is going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I know, like, time is just time. It's going to go at the same pace no matter what. But somehow, in some way, it just seems like life is just flying by. I mean, like, Easter is 2 weeks away. That's unbelievable. I keep joking around, but it's like, hey, happy 4th of July, because it's pretty much here already, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Because that just seems like that's how fast time goes. And so what I want to talk about today is that, like, just being in pursuit of the pause button to say, life's going so fast. Let's pause for a second and make sure, are we enjoying it? Because this is our one trip right here, and are we making the most of it? So a couple things I'm going to talk to you about. Second segment about hitting the pause button. But right now, one of my favorite things, let's enjoy the word of the week.
Word of the week. This is the part of the show where Denise and Bill learn new words in pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the English language, and so they can sound smarter.
Here's another word for you. You're going to get smarter today. The word is svelte. S-V-E-L-T-E. Svelte. Do you like the word?
It feels a little funny.
Every day you make me laugh. That's good. So the definition of svelte is slender, having clean lines, sleek, and suave. Nice, right? Bill's pointing to himself right now. For all of you listening, I can't see him, people. Okay. Did you know that in Death on the Rocks, a 2013 mystery novel by Darren Lake, the hero, John Rawlings, is described as having svelte eyebrows? Svelte is not an adjective commonly applied to eyebrows, though it's perfectly appropriate to do so. One of the word's meanings is sleek, and it is often used to describe such disparate things as gowns and sports cars having clean lines. However, svelte has more often been used with its original meaning as describing a person's body. Okay? So the example sentence from the dictionary is, why do some dog breeds struggle to stay svelte? Okay? And we know if we don't use our new word, I can hear you chuckling. If we don't use our new word, we will lose our new word. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I would like to use svelte in my own sentence. Bill does not struggle to say svelte because he burns around 3,000 calories a day. There, you are svelte.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, not like the dog breed. And that's our word of the week.
You're listening to In Pursuit with me, Pastor Bill, a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. If you would like to visit Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus, we have 4 weekend services to choose from. Visit maranathachisago.org to learn more and to check out some past messages. Well, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. I like your word of the week. That's awesome. I do not think I'm very svelte, but
You are svelte.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
that's good.
My man svelte.
I didn't spell very good yesterday after working for a while. Spelt funny.
That is not the right use of the word.
I know, but
Oh,
that's
dear.
it. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that very much. I will be ruminating on that for quite some time and figure out how I can use the word svelte. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm desiring to become your quintessential wordsmith. That's what I'm looking to be. So
Well, maybe you have to cloister yourself away in a turkey blind.
I might have to.
ruminate on these things.
You heard it here. My wife is encouraging me to cloister in a turkey blind.
That's right.
It's wonderful, and it's out in the universe right now, so I can pull it back in any time when I have to.
Absolutely.
We are talking.
I'm very magnanimous when it comes time for you to hunt.
Yes, very. Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to look at and talk for the next 20 or so minutes about just hitting the pause button for a second, and maybe not so much the pause button as the halftime or the slow down button, if you know what I mean by that. Because it's cruising by. I mean, even like at the beginning, like in the blink of an eye, this hour has gone by. Mm-hmm. And it's just 1 hour. For us, it just seems like we just finished a weekend's worth of services, and it's here again.
It's true.
It's like one after. It's like Sunday. It's boom. It's Sunday morning again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that week goes by so. It's so amazing how fast that week goes by. And it's doing things we love to do, but time just seems like it's flying by.
Flying.
It is, yeah. So what I want to do today, and obviously I want you 3 to weigh in on your thoughts of this. We have a bit of time. But this morning, it actually kind of changed everything this morning. I was up early and praying and thinking and reading the Bible and working on things, and that's really where this came from. Because I had something completely different I was planning to talk about for this time. But again, just realizing how fast time's going by, and just, I think, thinking about the people in our lives that we love that have lost loved ones, and just the realization of the time is just flying by, And so there's 5 things
Oh, nice.
that I want to just encourage you to consider that might help slow how fast things feel like they're going, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
And argue with me or add to or whatever you want to do. Because I'm feeling like I can take it because of my svelte lines. Mm-hmm.
It's true.
I can handle it. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is this, and this idea here, I think, really is something that we could probably spend a whole show on. But it's this: the first thing, as we think about maybe hitting the pause button a little bit, is worry less about tomorrow.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you gain, right?
What do you
From
gain?
worrying about,
Absolutely.
you will gain
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. James 4 says that no man knows what tomorrow's going to bring anyway, and this life, it's but a vapor. So today is going to fly right by. If you waste today because you're worrying about tomorrow, you've lost today. Mm-hmm. And
Then why do I keep worrying about it?
I know, I get you. It's not easy to do.
No.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that's why we could probably talk about this for an entire show, is to try and help us and to help anybody that might be listening or listen later understand this is not an easy thing to do.
No.
It's not easy to let tomorrow worry about itself. Although there's not a lot we can do today about tomorrow. And worrying about tomorrow just makes today, it wastes today. And in a world where time is flying so fast, or a period of time, I guess, like, man, let's not waste any more of it by worrying so much about tomorrow. You guys know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I do. It makes me think about the ant, though, because he works and builds and prepares. So we still have to prepare for tomorrow, but worrying about it is a different thing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about this. It was in one of the recent shows. I think it was in Being in Pursuit of Balance, where we talked about finding the balance between working and playing.
Right.
And I think that kind of becomes the key in a lot of this stuff, is going back to that 11th commandment, thou shalt be balanced. We have to be balanced. Like I'm a planner. You know, we have stuff going on Sunday evening, and we're kind of going to be going a little bit different directions. And it's like, all right, it's Thursday, we need a plan. You know, that's just the way my mind works. So it's finding the balance of saying, okay, it's not like we shouldn't be planning for the future. It's not like we shouldn't plan for a retirement or plan for our jobs or care for our homes, or, you know, it's not like I'm saying totally dismiss tomorrow. I think that there's a different mindset of, I'm so worried about tomorrow and what tomorrow's plans are that I'm missing everything that today has to offer.
Yeah.
And even to the point where, like I've said it here many times, and I probably will continue to, is like there's some times where I'm thinking so much about tomorrow or next week or next month or what's going to go on here or what's happening there, that I get up and say, wait a minute, I'm not going to let that ruin today because I'm worrying about that. Like, I'm going to have a good day today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to smile, and I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to have fun at work, and I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to enjoy that, because I'm not going to let tomorrow steal today, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody. Right? And so again, it's like this whole, let's not do things to make life go by faster than it already is.
Have you guys ever seen one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion, Kung Fu Panda?
Everybody was Kung Fu Panda.
There's a scene in there, I don't know if there's Master Oogway. He's this really cool old school turtle, right?
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of one of his quotes. So one of Master Oogway's quotes is, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called the present.
I like it. I like
Very
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think I've ever seen Kung Fu Panda.
We'll have to watch that. I've seen it
Great
advertised.
movie.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
Great movie.
Isn't there two?
Oh, there's like 4, I think, actually.
Oh, gosh, we got some ground to make up.
Uh-oh.
It's very true, though. So a simple little thing like that from a cartoon movie, but if you think about that principle, like, wow, apply that, and all of a sudden today has a lot more value, and we're much less likely to just let it slip away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
I think the other part, too, is making sure you're compartmentalizing. If you're thinking about tomorrow, that's fine as far as you're aware of, like, what can I do? So you can plan, and then that's that. So then do your planning, and then figure out how you can just drop it now.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in worrying about it. You've done what you can do. You've planned, and now focus on today.
Yeah,
You
kind of find that confidence or comfort in the plans you've made, and now stop freaking out about it.
Right.
Yeah. Easier said than done, because I can be a freaker outer. Yeah. That's a good thing. Do what you can do, and then let tomorrow take care of itself, and enjoy it today. Yeah, I like it.
It's like the same thing as, like, as far as in the prayer life, right? When you're talking about worldly things, I'm not going to have anything to do with the war between Russia and Ukraine, but at the same time, I can pray for that. I'm not going to worry about it. But when something is that big, that's when you give it to God, and let's see what you got to do. And
Yeah. Yep, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm with you. The first thing, just as we consider in being in pursuit of the pause button, is this: try and worry less about tomorrow. All right, here's another one for y'all to weigh in on. Don't get caught up Here's what I mean by this. And I think this is a big problem in our world and obviously within the church, which is where our world really is, where we spend it. But don't get caught up. What I mean by this is it's the rat race, the keeping up with the Joneses, that somehow when I can say how busy I am, that now I have achieved success. Like success has some way or somehow it's related to my busyness.
That you have more value because
exactly.
you're busier than the next person.
That's a better way to say it. My value is found in my busyness of my calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great way to say it.
That's not something I struggle with.
You're funny. Maybe somebody else struggles with that.
Yep. I'm guessing somebody else does. That is not my struggle. If I had nothing on my calendar, I would be fine.
Yeah. More and more I get to it because I think there's a certain amount of, like you see a slot in your calendar, I need to try and fill that. Because if I don't fill that, then I'm not being productive. And it's like I agree with you now. I love when I look at my calendar because it doesn't happen very often where there's a day where there's nothing on the calendar.
Right. Unless
we X out that day, stuff always accumulates. And it's a great thing to come across that day, there's nothing on it, you know, and to realize, wait a minute, that's okay. Like I'm not a failure because I don't fill that day up. I'm not being lazy because I don't fill that up.
Right. It's
a free day. And I mean, you guys have talked to people where it's almost like they brag about their busyness. Like it's somehow it's like a reward, a medal. They wear their busyness as a medal of honor. And again, I think it's one of those things that it can just kind of make time go so fast if we don't just kind of get out of that rat race.
Yeah. I think that being okay with a space in your life has to do with you being comfortable in that space with nothing else with you.
Yeah.
Like you got to be alone with yourself, or you got to be alone in your life if you don't have something distracting you. And if you aren't in a good place or you aren't comfortable in your space alone, it's much easier to fill it than to leave it empty and have to face that part of your life.
Yeah.
Is that too dark of a statement?
No, I think it's good insight into deeper things that can help people understand why is it so hard for me to just relax, or why is it so hard for me to just sit in peace or enjoy the lack of busy, you know. And again, there's some people, they thrive on the busyness. So it's not like one is right, one is wrong.
It's not for everybody.
Exactly.
That isn't the insight for everybody.
Right.
But
yeah.
It might be for some. Yeah.
But I think that there is a piece that's, it's like just to understand, wait a minute, I don't need to work 100 hours a week to have value and worth. You know? I think it's just a good thing to think about. Jesus in Matthew 6:25, Jesus kind of addresses this. He talks about not worrying about, after he's talking about serving money and serving God and not being able to serve two masters, if you'll love one and hate the other. Then he goes on and says, therefore, don't worry about your life and what you'll eat and what you drink and your body and what you wear. Isn't life more important than food and the body more important than clothes? Again, obviously, he's not saying don't get a job. He's not saying don't buy food, don't put clothes on your back and stuff. I think there's a being consumed by, and again, that being all of our focus, where we chase after that. In verse 32, he says, for the pagans run after all of these things. Like this becomes the focus of the existence. And I think that's the rat race we can get caught up in, is I need more. You talk about movies. So I have two daughters, and I remember a period of time, and I don't remember if this is a good or a bad show, but I remember watching High School Musical. Don't laugh at me.
You sang along, don't lie.
Yeah, I did. I was in full support of having two daughters. I loved being a girl dad. I still do. But there's a scene in one I remember, and I don't remember who's singing it, but the song is I Want More. And that's the whole, and these are high school kids, and they're some are wealthy and some are not, and the wealthy, that's the one who's singing this. It's his brother and sister, and they're just, that's the message. Like, I want more. And I think that's what I think of when I think of this. This is what people chase after this, and Jesus is saying, don't make this your God. Don't give your life over to wanting more stuff and getting caught up in that keep up with the Joneses mentality. It's like, don't buy into that, you know?
Yeah.
So, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Are you biting your tongue right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I think there's the part for me for getting caught up is what I really had to learn is where the priorities lie, and making sure that just because I might not be doing something physically doesn't mean I'm not accomplishing something, meaning my prayer time. So that was a struggle for me, because it was like I'm caught up in making sure I'm getting this done, and marching along in my list. But then when we had a conversation and like, hey, that is part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it was making sure to carve out time away for that, because it's like you might not be producing something in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't straighten chairs or I didn't do whatever, so you can't see it. But at the same time, it's like that prayer time, we might not be able to see it, but man, we are just changing things in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
So I was really trying to make sure I'm focusing on that. And it's like, yeah, I don't show like I've done anything, but
Right.
like at the same time, I know that I have.
Yeah, you didn't paint a wall, lay some block, build this or that, but yet how you did spend your time is extreme importance.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but it's hard to get caught up, because again,
Yeah.
if somebody else comes along and says, well, what have you been doing all day? And it's like,
I prayed.
I
read
have
my Bible.
nothing to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. When I first started here at Maranatha, we did like one of the personality tests that were going at the time, and I forget what animal or color or shape I was, other than to know that I forget the word, but I have sharp lines.
Svelte?
I other than to know that I'm svelte. But I remember Pastor Mike and I sitting down going over my results, and I was of the personality. I like to see an accomplishment at the end of the day. And it was funny because he said, oh, this job's going to frustrate you. because yeah, we don't get to see that. It's over a lot of time. It's like for us watching you. You're the fruit of our labor and seeing what God has done in you. Watching Alice, watching each other, seeing people in church, the community, like that's the fruit. But there's some days you don't see anything, and that just happens to be part of the gig. But again, to hit the pause button and realize, wait a minute, I don't have to get caught up in this rat race of the keeping up with the neighbors. You guys, I got 3 more points. We got to get rolling here.
Oh, hurry.
What in the world? Number 3 is this, to hit the pause button. Find your place. And here's what I mean by that. Where are the still waters that the Lord leads you by? Or where is he trying to lead you to? So for me, I think I'm just unbelievably blessed, because I have, like, home for me. That's that place. When we drive up our driveway and I see our house and I see the pole barn, and even them doggone chickens, when they come running out, it's like, there's a peace and there is a calm that comes. That's my still waters. And I know not everybody's house is that, but for me it is. The looking forward to sitting in the turkey blind. That's that place of peace for me. My pop-up fish house. We had the pop-up fish house set up in the basement last week for grandkids to sleep in like it was a tent. It brings me such joy, or it did, to walk down. It's like, there's my fish house. That's one of my places, and it was just it's a very cool thing. And so I think for everybody, it's like, where's your place? Do you have a place that is this is my calm. This is where I can hit the pause button. This is where I can relax. And honestly, it doesn't even have to mean you're not doing anything. Because for me, one of my places is running the chainsaw in the woods, or running, right now I have my cousin Tom's log splitter. I got to get that back to him, by the way. But like splitting logs with a log splitter. It's not quiet. It's not peaceful at all. But it's peaceful. And it becomes my place. And so again, I don't think it always has to be this just sit still and do nothing. I think it's just finding that place of enjoyment, finding that place of the still waters, from Psalm 23. He leads us beside still waters. He gives us rest. And being able to find that so that today I can enjoy and just hit the pause button so that life is not just passing me by. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Point number 4.
Oh, my place of peace is cooking.
It is.
Like, you don't have to sit still. Me just sitting still is very difficult. So finding peace by saying you have to, like, he leads me by still waters and nails my foot to the earth so I can't move. That's
not true. Alice is busting a gut out there.
That would kill me.
Yeah.
But you can keep walking. You can keep doing. You're just walking in a peaceful mindset or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even just watching a show, it's hard for me to sit down and watch a whole show without getting up off the couch.
It's very good. Denise always jokes about how her hobby she brought to the relationship is watching Netflix. And I just have to tell you, it's just not true. I can sit down, like if I'm going to watch a show, if I'm going to watch an Avengers movie, I can sit, and unless I have to pee or if I got to get something to eat, I can sit and watch that whole show, and I'm fine. Denise cannot do that. Like she'll get up and do something for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then come back, watch for 20 minutes, and go. And that's because that's just the way she is. Always moving and doing stuff.
Yeah, and so I agree with you. You don't have to just sit.
Yeah.
You don't just have to sit and be still in order to be walking by still waters.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't.
just was concurring with you.
Yeah, he doesn't what did you say?
Nail your foot to the ground.
I love it. The fourth thing I want to encourage you to do is this. These last 2 are pretty short and simple, but I just think I find so much value in it. So take what you will away from this. But point number 4 is this, is to look around. Like if you want to just slow life down and pause a little bit, look around. In the words of just a great American philosopher, I mean, I'm not deep into philosophy, but in the words of this great American philosopher, Ferris Bueller.
If you don't stop and look around once in a while.
Do it again. Say it again so we can all hear it, Shane.
I don't remember the quote
It's
verbatim.
about it, yeah. Hey, if you don't stop and look around once in a while, it starts off, life moves pretty fast. And if you don't stop and look around once in a while, it's going to pass you right by. And it's really true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just stop for a second, look around. That's what these different things we've been doing. Like, even just this silly thing of the sap from the trees. Like this morning, going out, walking in the snow, in the woods, checking the bags, and looking forward tonight. When we do something like that, do you know what it causes me to do? I'm in the woods, I'm looking around, and do you know what I find myself thinking and appreciating is God's creation.
It's so cool.
It's amazing when you stop.
Right.
When you stop long enough, and I think sometimes where we've gotten as a culture, and even again within the church sometimes, is we spend so much more time focusing on what we've created than looking at what God has created.
Yeah.
Because when we look at what He's created, do you know what we end up doing? Is thinking about the Creator. It just draws us into it. And if you ever want to relax and hit that pause button, really considering God and who He is, I think that helps us do it.
Oh, yeah.
But to pause, to look around, I can't wait coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Turkey season opens, and I can't wait to go sit out. You walk out when it's dark, and in the meadow, our back pasture, or out in the public land behind us, that meadow, it's still foggy, and you just watch. You watch the fog lift, and sometimes the fog will lift and there'll be a deer standing there. You didn't see it until the fog lifted. The birds come alive. There's some animals that are just waking up, some that are just going to bed because they've been up all night. Skunks. But all of this it just slows things down a little bit. And it's like, this is just beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, to hit the pause button, maybe look around a little. Finally, the 5th thing is this. Hit the brakes. And it's not easy to do. For some of you don't know this, but I used to drive a semi-truck before I became a pastor, which is funny because I spent hours and hours and hours by myself in a truck. And then all of a sudden, you got to deal with people the whole time, which I don't fully understand how that works. But I would drive a semi, and you could load it up pretty good. You can get, obviously, the whole rig up to 80,000 pounds. And then all of a sudden, when you got to hit the brakes, like you hit the brakes, and The tractor tires are locking up. The trailer tires are locking up. There's smoke barreling out of there. And you finally come to a screeching halt. And it's funny because once I remember you'd come to a screeching halt and you'd just kind of look around like, did anybody die? You know, because that's what it's kind of like. And here's the thing is we have in our lives so much busyness that it's like where do we ever just hit the brakes and hit the pause button? And that's the part where I want to just encourage you, just hit the brakes. And for some of you, life is going so crazy busy that your life, when you like to hit the brakes and cut that string where we stop feeling like we're a puppet to the whole world, make these adjustments. For some of us, it is like trying to stop an 80,000-pound semi.
Right.
And it's going to shock your system because you don't know, like the load in the trailer, I hauled produce, you hit the brakes and you just know, oh boy, I just made a mess in that trailer back there. Broccoli everywhere and tomatoes rolling around, and it's like, it's a disaster. And for some of us, that's really what our life is like. But here's the deal, you guys. I want to encourage you with this for real. I don't know if it's just as I get older or being around people who are losing or have lost loved ones that more and more and more make me appreciate this life. And the reality, I believe what the Bible says, and now I've lived enough to experience this life is but a vapor. It's here today and it's gone tomorrow. And sometimes it seems like it's going like I just can't get past this time. Believe me, it is flying by, and you're going to look back and all of a sudden you'll be 53 years old going, where in the world did that life go? And my encouragement today is this, is let's hit the pause button for a second and let's realize, man, no matter how much I worry about tomorrow, I cannot change it. I can plan for it, like Shane said. I can plan for it, and then based on my plans, I can feel confident to do the best I can. But let's not let tomorrow steal today. Let's not get caught up in the rat race of the world where we somehow find our worth and our value in our busyness. Let's be sure that, hey, in life, find a place where you can just be calm. Find a place where you can get that rest. Not always sit still, sometimes, but not always. But find that place. And man, even if you're driving, look around. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I almost go in the ditch because I'm looking in fields. Denise will be like,
Truth.
What you doing there, Pac-Man? Because I'm going over the dots.
Oh, yeah.
But look around, and then finally this, hit the brakes. Hit the brakes and know, you know what? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Take a look around and enjoy life. But would you join us as we pause or as we are in pursuit of pausing? It's great to spend a little bit of time. Great to spend this time with you guys. To all of you, I hope to see you next week. God bless ya.
Bye now. Thanks for joining In Pursuit with Pastor Bill and me, Denise. We hope you will tune in next Thursday at noon as the pursuit continues. In Pursuit is a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio, on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. The opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of the owner.